planning for the new world. It was peaceful and quiet in heaven once more, as it used to be before the trouble began. That is, except for one thing. Now the angels were sad and lonely for their former friends. They missed their companionship, for many of the dearest ones were among those who had joined the rebel side, and now they were gone. I have no idea how long the time of trouble had lasted. It may have lasted a short time, or it may have lasted a long time. It may possibly have been thousands of years, from the time Lucifer had his first unhappy thoughts until the day he started the war and was cast out of heaven. However that may have been, it was all over now. How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? You said in your heart, I will make myself like the Most High. All who know you are appalled at you. You have come to a dreadful end. Such were the lamentations heard over Lucifer, the day star, the light bearer. Now he was the enemy, the adversary, or, as we say in our language, Satan. Up on their golden thrones, God the Father and God the Son were having another consultation. The Father spoke of the angels. Surely the Son must have noticed how they were mourning over the fate of their former companions. They should do something special to help them overcome their grief. What did the Son think of their going ahead at once with their plans for making the new world they had talked about? The Son responded with enthusiasm, and they could make a very special kind of people for this new world to be companions for their angels in place of those they had lost. They must be very sure of one thing, though. They never wanted to risk another rebellion in heaven. They just could not have that happen again. They must find some way to test the loyalty of the new people. If they proved worthy, they might eventually even consider letting them be in heaven with the angels. Should it be a difficult test? No, there was no need of making the test difficult. Just some simple thing would do. In fact, it would be a greater disgrace to fail an easy test than a hard one. Then, too, if anyone should fail the test, he could not say that it was too hard. Let's suppose they sat thinking a while about what the test should be. Finally, maybe the Father spoke. Would this be a good plan? One fruit tree in the orchard could be selected, and the people could be instructed not to eat the fruit or to even touch it. That would be the test. The Son agreed readily. It was a perfect plan. Nothing could be easier. The people never need be hungry, because there would be dozens of other fruit trees to eat, so they would not have the least excuse to fail. However, I imagine the Father was looking sober. No, there would be no excuse. But there was another thing to be considered. They would have to let Lucifer test Adam and Eve too. Remember that his big argument was that the rules were too hard to obey. If the new people were protected from him, he could say that the rules are so hard that God is afraid to let him test them. The Son must have admitted that this was true. They had to be absolutely fair, or even the loyal angels might have a question in their minds. The angels could hardly have helped sympathizing with their former friends until they had a chance to see for themselves how evil their hearts had become by persistent rebellion. But what about the people on the other worlds? Well, all must be treated alike, so that the Creator can never be accused of being partial. Besides, everyone must be tested, for never again did they want someone to start a secret rebellion. But how could these tests be managed? What about setting aside a tree on each world, just as was planned for the new one? That would be simple to arrange, and also it would be treating them all alike. Now about the only problem left was how to let Lucifer get in on the testing. They did not believe he should be allowed to follow the people around and annoy them constantly. Suppose he be permitted to meet them only at the forbidden tree. Then, if they obeyed the command to stay away from the tree, they would never be troubled by him at all. The Son agreed heartily with that plan. That way, no one in heaven or in earth could ever honestly say that Things were made too hard. But suppose, Father, yes, the father knew what the son was thinking. Suppose that in spite of all their efforts to make it easy and to protect them, someone still should yield to temptation or choose to disobey. You remember, Father, you and I made an agreement a long time ago. The father must have turned away to hide the sadness on his face. You remember, the son persisted. We agreed that I would take the punishment and pay the price for any of our people who might fail the test. Still the father's face was turned away, his voice heavy with sorrow. Yes, I agreed, and I stand by my word. He must have looked upon the son with an infinite tenderness in his eyes, and laid his hand lovingly on the hand of the son. The children were thoughtful when the story ended. There was that matter of paying the price again. But what about Lucifer and his angels? They asked. Why didn't God the Son die for them? With them it was different, for they were already in heaven and acquainted with God. There was no test, no kind of temptation anywhere. There was no reason or excuse for their sin. It all just started and grew in Lucifer's own heart. Even in the Bible it is called a mystery. The plan for the angels was to give them every kind of chance possible. This was done, and they made their choice. For the people in the world, there had to be a different plan, because they might be deceived. If this should happen, the Son would show them what God was really like by living with them and dying for them. Then they would have their chance to choose him too.